So I would consider myself a religious person. I grew up Roman Catholic, and so when I was in China, I definitely wanted to keep that as part of my life. And the first time I went over there, I was sponsored by this woman who I didn't know at the time. She was a friend of a friend. I didn't know at the time that she was like the head of, the head of like a group of evangelical Christians in China. And it was, so when I first started talking to her about it, she'd ask me about religion, and I'd say that I was really interested in it, I'd like to go and, go with her to, her organization, and it being really strange. The preacher would get up there and say, like, can you imagine 1 billion Chinese crusading for Christ? And like in my head, I'm thinking that's probably the scariest thing I could ever imagine. And they end up having Easter service on the Great Wall, which I thought was awesome. Like, it was really cool to go to sunrise service on the Great Wall. It was beautiful, but at the same time you're there and you're like, this is so weird that the organization is paying for the buses and the Chinese staff to bring us here to the Great Wall to celebrate the biggest religious holiday for the Christian faith, and in a country that doesn't condone religion at all. And so it was odd. When I was there in 2007, I went to Catholic masses, and the masses were basically the same for the most part as they are in the U.S., except for we don't, at the end, when you pray for the Pope and for bishops, they don't actually pray for the Pope. In China, there's a organization, it's called like the CPCA. It's like the Chinese People's Catholic Administration, and what it does is it regulates, it like appoints the bishops and stuff. And so basically the Chinese government, they preemptively start all these organizations so that they can control religion. So we don't pray for the Pope. When you're in China, you don't really pray for or have any allegiance to any foreign leaders at all. It's all to the Chinese government. You actually pray for the Chinese government when you're at Mass too, so it's interesting.
So in terms of religion, actually I am not very familiar with that until I met a Hawaii manager. The Hawaii manager, he wants to build up his own handicapped car, which is the first in the world. So he came to China to manufacture in Shanghai, and he asked me to be his assistant and the translator. And so that means I not only have to take care of his business, but also his daily life, because he's handicapped. And he wants to go to the church every week, so I accompany him every week. And I was so surprised because there are so many Chinese people in the church. I thought, because I am no religion, so I think other people, or most Chinese people, are no religion, but actually it's not. Every Sunday, the church is very, very crowded. And I also brought him to another big church, which is international church. And not only in the building, but also in the garden, people are everywhere. So I kind of feel that the Chinese government is losing its power about control the religions, at least in my perspective, in my experiences. But we do have a strict rule that if you are the party member, the government party member, you cannot join a religion. That's a rule. But besides that, I think it's okay, it's flexible.